from what, '01 to '04, I was here during part of those times that Ed talked about, when we were losing dollars out of the town and had to make good on that. Some of the things that I did at the time was I worked with the Golf Commission, which I was liaison to at that time, and Parks and Rec, and we got a land swap through which allowed us to expand the driving range at the golf course, which allowed more income for the town. You call it income, some people say you can't take income from one area and give it to another, but bottom line is you're not taking dollars out of other areas to pay for golf course issues. At the same time, I suggested that we put up a dozen light stanchions so we could have nighttime driving range there, which would bring very many tourist dollars into this town. Very little expense for the doing of that. And it would also get people to come into town from other towns to drive golf balls at night, and they would probably come back and play golf during the day as well. It's been suggested that we open the golf course 45 minutes earlier, which would also push through 16 to 20 new players each day. Having been on the Energy Committee, we have installed passive solar energy, or we're installing passive solar energy onto the elementary school. That is going to save us dollars, outgoing dollars. There are other things to be done by that. I know Ed had mentioned that we have 3 new restaurants in town, which is going to increase some meals tax. But the reality is we lost 5 restaurants. We lost 5 and gained 3. That's a net loss of 2 restaurants. And that's a direct show of economic times and how tough it is to do business, not just in this town, but in towns all around the state and all around the country. You know, it's not Howard's fault, but we're not gaining by that. When I reinvented the Chamber of Commerce in 1982, after it had gone defunct, I was the first president of the new Chamber of Commerce. We had 3,500 rooms, rental rooms in this town at that time. We now have 350 rental rooms in this town at this time. Granted, some of those have turned into condos, and so other tax dollars have come that way. But we have a net loss of just over 3,000 nightly, weekly rental units in the town. The opportunity to bring dollars into this town can also come from southern spurs off the bike trail. Many people talk about green dollars. Tourists who come to the Cape park their cars and get on their bikes and ride up and down the Cape. Generally, they'll consume beverages, they'll eat some food, but they have credit cards in their wallets that they'll go into stores, buy things to have them shipped home. Whenever you make local businesses stronger, you make the community stronger, and you make their abilities to pay their taxes easier, and it helps employ more people. That would be a good thing. I know that our town planner, Dave Spitz, is working on a plan to move some southern spurs along. Those southern spurs I brought forward in 2002 as one of my goals and ideas, to get them from the bike trail down to Grey Neck Beach, down to Allen's Harbor, down to the port, down to Weechmere Harbor, down to Saquatucket Harbor, and then back Lothrop, back all over Snow, back Bank Street, and back Depot Street to get back onto the bike trail. That was another plan that I think can be done with little dollars, and there are, as much as people don't like to say it, there are Obama dollars out there which are pointed towards tourist dollars. The railways from Fall River to Cape Cod, we have a local resident that's a principal in a company that has the contracts to redo and refurbish all of the railroad bridges from Fall River to Cape Cod. There are dollars being spent by the government for rail travel, and there is also a major harbor hopping plan that is going on by the Army Corps of Engineers that is going to create a lot of ferry services from major cities up and down the East Coast, but also smaller ferry services that could be utilized from Harwich. We already have a ferry here. We could be a nice drop-off point, hopping-off point to the islands, from Chatham to Harwich, from Dennis to Harwich, from Yarmouth to Harwich, from Hyannisport to Harwich. So we have something going for us there in the harbors. We have 3 harbors. No other town on the Cape has 3 harbors. We need to utilize the harbors more. Some may not want to hear it, but in 2002 I also brought the Downey family into the selectman's office to talk to the selectman and town administrator to first start negotiating on that property. Well, I was poo-pooed at the time, and it wasn't good enough for the town of Harwich, so it went other ways. Thank God the Downey family has been willing to come back and talk to the town. There is no other opportunity that I know of up and down the Cape where a town has the ability to pick up harborside property to do with whatever. That can be decided later, but if we don't acquire that property, I think it's a terrible, terrible shame. It'll set right up there with the exchange hall as a loss to the town.